She's back at it again. But I think I know why. I think I know what's going on here. So, Helena Taylor, if you've watched her original videos on this whole Bayonetta 3 situation, if you're anything like me, one thing that might have stood out in particular was the bit where she talks about being in poverty and she brings up mental health and talks about being anxious or depressed, and at one point mentions that she was suicidal. This stood out to me as an odd detail at first because I wasn't sure if she was mentioning this because it was tied specifically to the game or just as background information as to her personal situation and stuff. But as the week has gone on and as more information has come out about the situation with Bayonetta 3 and the fact that she's lying and misrepresenting information and stuff, the idea that's come into my mind as to what's going on here is that I think the reason Helena Taylor is saying all this stuff about Bayonetta 3 and is lying and misrepresenting the truth is simple. I think it's down to the fact that I believe, first of all, that she's genuinely in this poverty situation. She hasn't done voice acting work in 8 years. She's probably done theatre work in that time, and maybe she's done small jobs, but she doesn't seem to have done anything big or notable, at least not to the gaming community or anything like that. So it seems like she might be genuine when she says she's in poverty, which in turn would lead you to assume that her feelings of anxiousness and depression are true as well. Which, again, following the same train of thought, is it so hard to believe that she was suicidal at one point? Maybe you're starting to see where I'm going here, but what I think happened is Bayonetta as a character, as a franchise, was her escape to this. I think she saw Bayonetta 3 as an opportunity. This could be her great escape. Bayonetta was this character she loved playing, and she thought Bayonetta 3 could be the one thing to save her from her current financial situation. And so she made these demands, and obviously Platinum couldn't meet them. And when Platinum couldn't meet her demands, they replaced her. And obviously that left her completely shook. She's grieving for this character she loved and saw as her escape, but now she's never going to get this. She's never going to get to play this character again. She's probably never going to have an acting role ever again, period. And so what she sees as her one opportunity has suddenly been robbed away from her. And that's why she's angry. She's angry at Jennifer Hale. She's angry at Camilla. She's angry at the journalists reporting on this information. She's getting called out for how she lied to us. And she's angry. But at the center of it all comes down to emotion. I think she genuinely is depressed about this role. And Bayonetta was a big deal to her. Obviously it is. Otherwise this situation wouldn't have happened in the first place. Bayonetta was important to her, and playing that character, it explains why she's overvaluing the franchise. She keeps saying it's worth 450 million. Obviously it's not, but why does she think that when it's so blatantly false? She's overestimating the worth of it. To her, Bayonetta is like everything. It's probably worth a really big deal, and she thinks she's a big name, and the character is a big name, but the reality of the situation is that doesn't work like that. Bayonetta is a niche IP. Bayonetta 3 might not be so niche, but the first two games and the movie, and if you want to throw in the pachinko machine as well, it's all niche. And unfortunately, Helena Taylor couldn't see it that way, and she thrust us into this situation where we are now, on the last few days leading up to the game's release. She said she wanted to put this whole franchise behind her initially, and yet she came back to tell more lies in her most recent tweets. Because she can't let go. Because she's so heavily connected to this character in this universe. She views it as important, either to herself or to what's going on. But either way, in her mind, Bayonetta is this really big deal. And that's been taken away from her. And when you look at it from that view, you can kind of understand why she's so upset and why she would be mad. If I was in her situation, I would probably be the same way. I don't know that I would have called out the developers and fellow colleagues in the same manner, but in terms of the raw feelings, the raw emotion there, absolutely. And I'm sure a lot, if not all of you as well, would feel the same way. And so I think that's what's led us to where we are. Now, does that necessarily justify this entire situation? No, of course not. Helena Taylor, at the end of the day, is taking us for fools. She thinks we're more stupid than we are, that we're just going to believe this $450 million thing, that we're just going to believe her at face value when she changes her mind about the exact amount of money she was owed. She thinks we're dumber than we are, and obviously we're not. And her lies are so blatant. Platinum offered her $15,000, and she admitted it. She full on admitted it, despite saying previously that it was all a lie, it was all a fabrication. She's going all over the place because she's caught red-handed, essentially, and she doesn't have the evidence to back it up. She already broke NDA, so there should be no issue with providing proof, showing us your contracts that would, solidify all these claims and allegations you're making, or any other documentation. She's got nothing, because she's made up most of this situation, or at the very least, she's twisted it into something that it's not. And what it's done is it's destroyed her career. It's damaged the reputation of future voice actors who come out complaining about low pay. No one's going to take them seriously now because of this. And that's probably the biggest disaster of all this, is that this is really going to be damaging to the industry and any other actors who want to speak out about their current situation. They're not going to be taken seriously because of Helena Taylor essentially demanding these high amounts of money for something that's nowhere near as big as she thinks it is. Now, at the end of the day, these are just my thoughts. I have no way of proving all this. These are just thoughts that popped into my head after thinking about her initial statements and after seeing what she was saying today in response to Bloomberg's report. It'll be interesting to see if anything else comes of this. Is this the end of the situation? Are we going to see her come up with anything else? Is she going to blow us away and come up with proof? Is Bloomberg going to have a new report? Is there going to be a back and forth? And the big question on everyone's minds, are Platinum Games going to sue her? I was thinking after their initial statement, no, they seem like they just want to kind of sweep it under the rug and be nice, but she's continuing down this self-destructive path, and as people are saying, they might just wait till the game is out. Maybe 2-3 weeks after the game releases, Platinum are going to go after Helena and take her out for everything she's worth. And if they don't, Nintendo most likely will. In fact, Nintendo are very likely going to do that, if not Platinum. Regardless, I do think whatever happens, if she gets sued, she's completely fucked, because they will go for the jugular. They will have no mercy. She had no mercy on them. She tried to take the company and Bayonetta 3 as a whole down with her, tried to discredit her colleagues and everyone involved with this game. And so, yeah, she's going to be in a really tough position if things escalate any further. But as it currently stands, that's the current run of things. That's the run of the mill. That's the information we have. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. Do you agree with anything I said? Do you think I'm completely missing the mark? Do you have any ideas of your own as to why Helena Taylor is doing this, essentially? I want to hear everything you have to say down in the comment section below. And yeah, with that all said, thank you all for watching and please subscribe. Novus Corvius out.